Did you know that Interlaken is nestled between two stunning lakes and surrounded by the towering peaks of the Swiss Alps? This magical town is not just a gateway to some of Switzerland's most breathtaking landscapes, but also home to thrilling adventures like paragliding, skydiving, and hiking the famous Jungfrau Region. Imagine waking up to the crisp mountain air with endless trails and postcard-perfect views waiting for you. Whether you're seeking adrenaline-pumping activities or peaceful strolls by crystal-clear lakes, Interlaken has something for everyone. Ready to explore one of the most beautiful places on Earth? Interlaken, Switzerland. Just the name makes you think of breathtaking landscapes, clear blue lakes and majestic mountains, right? This little town is like something out of a fairy tale, nestled between Lake Thun and Lake Brienz. Imagine it. You're standing in a valley, surrounded by towering snow-capped mountains with two beautiful lakes on either side of you. It's almost like the earth just carved out a special place for Interlaken, making it one of the most picturesque spots in the world. Now, let me tell you, if you're dreaming of adventure and nature, Interlaken should be at the top of your travel list. The name Interlaken literally means between lakes, and it makes perfect sense once you see it. The town is situated between these two stunning lakes, and if that's not enough, it's right at the heart of the Swiss Alps, with mountains like the famous Jungfrau just waiting for you to explore. Jungfrau is often called the roof of Europe, and for a good reason. It's the highest point in the region, and getting there is like a journey through the clouds. But more on that later. Despite being a major tourist destination, it's not a big, bustling city. It's more like a peaceful retreat where people come to enjoy nature and escape the rush of everyday life. The whole vibe here is relaxed, and the best part? You can explore the entire town on foot. Strolling around Interlaken is like walking through a postcard. The charming streets, the traditional Swiss architecture, and the stunning mountain views in the background. You'll find souvenir shops, cozy cafes, and restaurants serving up delicious Swiss chocolate and fondue. But what makes Interlaken really special is how it connects you to some of the most amazing natural experiences you could ever have. The town sits in a valley surrounded by the Brienz Alps, so naturally, outdoor adventure is a huge part of the experience here. If you're an adrenaline junkie, Interlaken is like a playground. People come here from all over the world to go hiking, skiing, paragliding, and even skydiving. Imagine jumping out of a plane and seeing the beautiful lakes and mountains from above. It's the kind of thrill that stays with you forever. And even if you're not into extreme sports, you can take a cable car ride or train to the top of one of the mountains and just enjoy the views. Trust me, there's nothing like standing at the top of the Alps, looking out at the world spread beneath you. Speaking of mountains, let's talk about Jungfrau. It's probably the most famous mountain in the area, and getting to the top is an adventure in itself. You take a train ride up, and as you go higher, the view just keeps getting better and better. Once you reach the top, you're greeted by a winter wonderland, no matter what time of year it is. They call it the top of Europe because it's the highest point you can reach by train in the whole continent. Up there, you can explore the ice palace, walk through tunnels carved into the glacier, and take in the breathtaking views of the surrounding peaks and valleys. It's like being on top of the world. But it's not just the mountains that make Interlaken so amazing. Those lakes I mentioned earlier, Lake Thun and Lake Brienz, are just as stunning. Lake Thun is known for its deep blue waters, and it's perfect for a boat ride. You can cruise across the lake, soaking in the views of the surrounding mountains, and visit charming villages like Thun, which has its own castle and a medieval old town. Lake Brienz, on the other hand, is famous for its turquoise waters and peaceful atmosphere. It's the perfect spot for a swim, or if you're feeling adventurous, you can rent a kayak and paddle across the lake. Both lakes offer a chance to just relax and take in the natural beauty of the region. One thing I love about Interlaken is how easy it is to get around. The public transport system in Switzerland is top-notch, and Interlaken is no exception. You can hop on a train and be in some of the most beautiful places in the country within an hour or so. Lucerne, Bern and Zurich are all just a train ride away, and the journeys themselves are an experience. Imagine sitting on a train, watching the scenery change from rolling hills to towering mountains. It's like traveling through a painting. And if you want to explore the area around Interlaken, there are buses and cable cars that will take you to all the nearby villages and mountains. One of the coolest things about Interlaken is that it's not just a place to visit, it's a place to experience. Whether you're hiking through the mountains, sailing across the lakes, or just strolling through the town, there's something magical about being here. It feels like you're part of the landscape, not just a tourist passing through. You can spend your days exploring the outdoors and your evenings relaxing in a cozy Swiss restaurant, enjoying some of the best food and chocolate you've ever tasted. And here's a little fun fact for you. Interlaken even has its own casino. So if you're looking for some evening entertainment, you can try your luck at the tables. Right outside the casino, there's a bronze statue of Yash Chopra, the legendary Bollywood director who filmed many of his movies in the region. It's a bit of a surprise to see, but it just goes to show how far-reaching the beauty of Interlaken really is. People from all over the world come here to capture a piece of it, whether through films, photos, or just memories. Another thing to keep in mind is that while Interlaken is a small town, it's a great base for exploring the wider region. There are so many nearby villages and mountains to visit, each with its own charm. Lauterbrunnen, for example, is known for its stunning waterfalls, while Grindelwald is a popular spot for skiing and hiking. And of course, you can't miss Gimmelwald and Mürren, two traditional Swiss mountain villages that feel like they're straight out of a storybook. If you're planning a trip to Interlaken, there are plenty of accommodation options to choose from. Whether you're looking for a luxury hotel with mountain views, a cozy bed and breakfast, or even a budget-friendly hostel, you'll find something that suits your style. And the best part? Many places offer a free bus pass as part of your stay, so you can explore the town and the surrounding area without worrying about transportation costs. In terms of food, Switzerland is known for being a bit on the expensive side, and Interlaken is no different. A meal at a restaurant can easily cost you 20 Swiss franc or more. But don't worry, there are ways to save money. Many travelers opt to buy groceries and cook their own meals, especially if they're staying in a hotel or hostel with a kitchen. There are plenty of supermarkets in town, so you'll have no trouble finding what you need. Plus, it's a great way to experience Swiss food on your own terms. Try some local cheese, fresh bread, and of course, Swiss chocolate. After taking in the stunning mountain views and soaking up the peaceful town vibes, it's time to get into the next major highlight of Interlaken, its lakes. These two beauties, Lake Thun and Lake Brienz, are like twin jewels sitting on either side of the town, and they add a whole new dimension to what makes Interlaken so magical. Let's start with Lake Thun, which lies to the west of Interlaken. Picture this, a deep, shimmering blue lake surrounded by rolling hills, charming little villages, and, of course, those iconic Swiss Alps standing tall in the background. Lake Thun is known for its depth and clear waters, making it a favorite spot for all sorts of activities. Whether you're into boating, fishing, or just soaking in the views, there's something incredibly peaceful about being near the water. And if you love a good boat ride, this is the place to be. You can hop on a ferry or a steamboat and cruise across the lake, stopping by small lakeside towns that seem to have popped right out of a postcard. One of the must-see stops along Lake Thun is the town of Thun itself. It's about half an hour from Interlaken, and it's like stepping back in time. The town is full of medieval charm, with narrow streets, half-timbered houses, and a castle that looks like something out of a fairy tale. Thun Castle, perched on a hill overlooking the town, offers some of the best views of the lake and surrounding mountains. And if you're a history buff, you'll love exploring the castle's exhibits, which give you a glimpse into the life of Swiss nobility back in the day. After touring the castle, you can wander down to the old town and grab a coffee or a meal at one of the cozy cafes along the Aare River. The vibe here is super relaxed, making it a great spot to take a break and just watch the world go by. If Lake Thun is all about depth and calm waters, Lake Brienz is its wild turquoise sister. Seriously, the color of the lake is unreal. It's the kind of vibrant turquoise that makes you wonder if someone added a little extra color to nature. But nope, that's just how it is. The lake is fed by glacial waters, which gives it that striking color, and it's surrounded by some of the most dramatic mountain scenery you'll ever see. Lake Brienz is perfect if you're looking for a peaceful escape. While it's less busy than Lake Thun, it offers just as many opportunities for adventure. One of the most popular things to do here is to take a boat ride across the lake. The boats on Lake Brienz are a little different though. You can take a traditional paddle steamer, which gives the whole experience a nostalgic old-world feel. As you glide across the water, you'll pass by quaint villages like Iselwald, which is so picturesque it feels like it was made for Instagram. There's even a famous hotel in Iselwald, where people come just to relax by the lake and enjoy the quiet beauty of the place. Speaking of Iselwald, if you're into photography or just love taking stunning views, this village is a must-see. The little peninsula that juts out into the lake offers some of the most amazing views of the mountains reflecting in the turquoise water. It's one of those places where time seems to slow down, and you can't help but take a deep breath and appreciate the natural beauty all around you. Another great spot to visit along Lake Brienz is the town of Brienz itself. This place is famous for its wood carving tradition, and you'll see that reflected everywhere you go. As you walk through the town, you'll pass by workshops where artisans are carving everything from intricate figurines to massive sculptures. Brienz even has a woodcarving school where students learn the traditional techniques that have been passed down through generations. If you're looking for a unique souvenir, a hand-carved wooden piece from Brienz is as authentic as it gets. Now, if you're someone who loves nature but wants a little bit more adventure, Lake Brienz is also a great starting point for hiking and exploring the surrounding mountains. One of the most popular hiking spots near the lake is the Gisbach Falls, which is a breathtaking sight. These cascading waterfalls tumble down into the lake from high in the mountains, and there's a lovely walking path that takes you right up to the falls. You can even stay at the historic Grand Hotel Gisbach, which is perched on the hillside overlooking the falls and the lake. Imagine waking up to the sound of a waterfall outside your window. Talk about a dream come true. And if you want to see the falls from a different perspective, there's a funicular railway that takes you from the lake up to the hotel and the falls. It's a short but scenic ride, and it gives you a chance to take in the beauty of the landscape from a whole new angle. Now, between Lake Thun and Lake Brienz, you'll find the Aare River, which connects the two lakes and flows right through the center of Interlaken. The river adds even more charm to the town, and there are plenty of places where you can walk along the banks and enjoy the views of the mountains and lakes in the distance. It's one of those perfect spots to take a leisurely stroll, snap some photos, and just enjoy the peaceful vibe of the place. There are also bridges that cross the river, giving you a chance to see Interlaken from different perspectives. What's really cool about Interlaken and its lakes is how connected everything feels. You've got these two stunning lakes on either side of the town, both offering their own unique beauty and experiences, and the river running right through the middle of it all. Whether you're in the mood for a relaxing boat ride, a hike in the mountains, or just a quiet afternoon by the water, Interlaken gives you the best of both worlds. Another thing that makes the lakes so special is how easy it is to access them. The public transport system in Switzerland is incredibly efficient, and that includes the boats on Lake Thun and Lake Brienz. You can buy a day pass or even a multi-day pass that lets you hop on and off these boats as much as you like, which is a great way to explore the area without worrying about transportation. Plus, the boat rides themselves are an experience. Just imagine cruising across a crystal clear lake with the Alps towering around you. It's the kind of thing that makes you pinch yourself to make sure it's real. If you thought Interlaken was all about peaceful lakes and scenic views, you're in for a surprise. This town isn't just a peaceful backdrop for relaxing vacations, it's also the ultimate playground for adventure lovers. They don't call Interlaken the adventure capital of Switzerland for nothing. People from all over the world flock here to get their adrenaline pumping, whether that's by jumping off a cliff, with a parachute of course, skiing down the slopes of the Alps, or taking on the rugged mountains in a hike that leaves you breathless in more ways than one. Let's kick things off with paragliding because, honestly, it's one of the most iconic activities in Interlaken. Imagine this, you're standing on a hill, feeling the cool mountain breeze, and before you know it, you're running towards the edge of the cliff with a parachute strapped to your back. In a matter of seconds, you're airborne, soaring high above the town, with Lake Thun and Lake Brienz shimmering below you like twin gems. The view? Absolutely insane. You get this incredible bird's-eye perspective of the mountains, lakes and valleys stretching out beneath you. Paragliding in Interlaken is more than just an adventure. It's pure freedom. You're up there with nothing but the wind guiding you, and for a few moments, it feels like you've left the world behind. But hey, if jumping off a cliff isn't quite your thing, there's plenty more where that came from. Skydiving is another big thrill around here, and it's not just for seasoned daredevils. In fact, Interlaken is one of the most popular places for first-time jumpers to take the plunge. The idea of throwing yourself out of a plane at 30,000 feet might sound terrifying, but once you're up there, looking down at the sprawling landscape of Switzerland's Bernese Oberland, any fear is quickly replaced by excitement. The adrenaline rush you get as you free fall towards the earth, with the snow-capped peaks of Eiger, Münch and Jungfrau in the background, is something you'll never forget. Speaking of mountains, let's talk about winter sports, because Interlaken is a prime spot for skiing and snowboarding. Thanks to its perfect location between the best ski resorts in the country, Interlaken is a great base for winter adventures. Places like Grindelwald, Wengen and Lauterbrunnen are just a short train or bus ride away, and once you get there, you've got access to world-class slopes. The ski resorts around Interlaken cater to all levels, from beginners to expert skiers, so whether you're just starting out or you've been skiing since you could walk, you'll find the perfect run. Plus, the views from the top of the slopes are just breathtaking. There's nothing quite like skiing down a mountain with the Alps towering all around you. If you're not into skiing but still want to experience the winter wonderland, snowshoeing and sledding are also popular options. Snowshoeing lets you explore the quieter, more untouched parts of the mountain. You can wander off the beaten path and really immerse yourself in the beauty of the snowy landscape. Sledding, on the other hand, is pure fun. There are a number of sledding trails around Interlaken, and flying down a hill on a traditional wooden sled is a blast, no matter how old you are. But Interlaken's adventure isn't just about winter sports. In the warmer months, the town becomes a haven for hikers, climbers, and all-around outdoor enthusiasts. The hiking trails around here are legendary, and there's something for everyone, whether you're looking for a gentle walk along the lake or a challenging trek up into the high Alps. One of the most popular hikes is the trail to Schönige Platte, which offers stunning panoramic views of the surrounding mountains and lakes. The hike itself is fairly challenging, but the reward at the top is worth every step. From the summit, you can see the famous trio of peaks, Eiger, Mönch and Jungfrau, rising dramatically against the sky, along with the shimmering waters of Lake Thun and Lake Brienz below. It's the kind of view that makes you stop and just take it all in. For those who want to push themselves even further, the mountains around Interlaken offer some of the best rock climbing and mountaineering opportunities in Switzerland. The rugged cliffs and peaks are a dream for experienced climbers, with routes that range from beginner-friendly to seriously tough. The sheer variety of climbs means you can always find something that suits your level, and no matter which route you take, you'll be treated to jaw-dropping views along the way. And if you're up for something a little different, canyoning is another popular adventure sport in Interlaken. Now, if you've never heard of canyoning, it's basically a mix of rock climbing, hiking, swimming, and rappelling, all done in a canyon filled with waterfalls and natural pools. You'll navigate your way down through the canyon, jumping off cliffs into the water, sliding down natural rock slides, and rappelling down waterfalls. It's an absolute thrill and a great way to get up close and personal with some of Interlaken's more hidden natural beauty. The best part? You don't need any previous experience to give it a go. There are guides who will take you through the whole thing, making sure you're safe and having the time of your life. Of course, not every adventure in Interlaken has to get your heart racing. Sometimes, the best way to enjoy the area is at a slower pace, letting the stunning scenery do all the work. One of the most relaxing activities you can do in Interlaken is simply taking a scenic train ride. Switzerland's train system is famously efficient and beautifully scenic, and the routes around Interlaken are no exception. You can take the train from Interlaken to Jungfraujoch, which is the highest railway station in Europe. As you climb higher and higher, the views just keep getting more and more spectacular, with glaciers, snow-covered peaks, and deep valleys all around. Once you reach the top, you'll feel like you're standing on the roof of the world, surrounded by some of the most impressive mountains in the Alps. And if you prefer to stay a little closer to town, there are plenty of other ways to enjoy Interlaken's natural beauty. You can rent a bike and cycle along the lakeside paths, go for a peaceful paddle on Lake Brienz in a kayak, or even take a horse-drawn carriage ride through the town. There's something about the fresh mountain air and the gentle sound of the water lapping at the shore that just makes you want to slow down and soak it all in. One thing's for sure, whether you're seeking thrills or just looking for a peaceful escape in nature, Interlaken has it all. The town might be small, but the adventures you can have here are massive. And the best part? You don't have to choose just one. You can start your day with a heart-pounding skydive, spend the afternoon hiking through the mountains, and then wind down with a quiet evening by the lake. It's this mix of adventure and tranquility that makes Interlaken such a special place. If you've already fallen in love with Interlaken's lakes, mountains and thrilling adventures, wait until you hear about Jungfraujoch, literally the top of Europe. I can tell you right now that no trip to this region is complete without experiencing Jungfraujoch. It's one of those once-in-a-lifetime experiences that will blow you away, no matter how many amazing places you've been. There's a reason this spot is on every traveler's must-visit list, and once you've seen it, you'll understand why. Let me set the scene for you. Jungfraujoch is a high-altitude saddle in the Bernese Alps, situated between two towering peaks, Jungfrau and Mönch. It sits at an elevation of 3,454 meters or 11,332 feet above sea level, making it the highest railway station in Europe. And getting there is an adventure in itself. To reach Jungfraujoch, you take a scenic train ride that's unlike anything you've ever experienced before. It's not just about the destination, it's about the journey, and this one is nothing short of spectacular. The trip starts in Interlaken, and from the moment you board the train, you know you're in for something special. The Swiss rail system is world-class, and the trains are designed to give you the best views of the landscape as you climb higher and higher into the mountains. As the train chugs along, you pass through picturesque villages like Lauterbrunnen and Grindelwald, which are stunning enough on their own. But as you keep going, the scenery becomes more and more breathtaking. The mountains seem to get taller, the valleys deeper, and the air crisper with every passing minute. At some point, you'll be riding along steep cliffs with nothing but a sheer drop to one side and the towering peaks of the Alps on the other. It's the kind of ride where you find yourself glued to the window, snapping photo after photo, trying to capture the sheer majesty of it all. And then, as you approach the final leg of the journey, you enter a tunnel that's carved right through the Eiger mountain itself. It's mind-blowing to think about the engineering feats that made this train route possible. Once you emerge from the tunnel, you've arrived at Jungfraujoch. Welcome to the top of Europe. Stepping off the train, you immediately feel the crisp cold air on your face, and when you take your first look around, it's like you've been transported to another world. Snow and ice stretch out as far as the eye can see, with jagged peaks rising up all around you. Even if you've seen snow before, there's something truly magical about seeing it at this altitude, surrounded by the grandeur of the Swiss Alps. It feels like you've landed on top of the world. The first thing most people do when they get to Jungfraujoch is head straight for the Sphinx Observatory. This is one of the highest observatories in the world, and it offers panoramic views that will leave you speechless. From up here, you can see the Alleged Glacier, the largest glacier in the Alps, stretching out like a river of ice below you. On a clear day, you can even see as far as Germany and Italy. The views are just insane. It's like looking out over a frozen kingdom with nothing but snow, ice, and sky as far as the eye can see. And while the views are the main attraction, there's plenty more to explore at Jungfraujoch. One of the coolest places, literally, is the Ice Palace. This is a series of tunnels and rooms carved out of solid ice, and walking through them feels like stepping into an icy wonderland. The walls, floors, and ceilings are all made of ice, and there are incredible ice sculptures scattered throughout. Everything glistens and sparkles under the soft lights, giving the whole place a magical glow. It's a bit chilly inside, no surprise there, so you'll definitely want to bundle up, but it's absolutely worth it to experience this unique attraction. Another must-see at Jungfraujoch is the Alpine Sensation, an exhibition that tells the story of how the Jungfrau Railway was built. It's a fascinating look at the history of this incredible engineering marvel, and it gives you a real appreciation for just how difficult it was to construct a railway at such a high altitude. The exhibition is interactive and really well done, with photos, videos, and even a moving walkway that takes you through the different stages of the railway's development. As you learn about the challenges the builders faced, harsh weather, dangerous terrain, and even avalanches, you'll come to realize just how amazing it is that this railway exists at all. But one of the best parts about Jungfraujoch, in my opinion, is just being outside in the snow. You can walk out onto the observation deck where you're surrounded by nothing but snow and sky. If you've never been at such a high altitude before, you might feel the thin air a bit, but don't worry, it just adds to the feeling that you're somewhere truly special. You can take a stroll out onto the glacier, build a snowman, or even have a snowball fight. For many people, especially those from warmer climates, this is the first time they've ever seen snow, and it's pure joy to see their reactions as they play in it like kids. And if you're feeling extra adventurous, there's even the opportunity to go skiing or snowboarding right there on the glacier. It's not every day you get to say you skied at the top of Europe, so if you're a fan of winter sports, this is a bucket list experience you won't want to miss. The snow is pristine, and the views while you're skiing down the slopes are out of this world. If you're visiting Jungfraujoch in the warmer months, you'll be pleased to know that there are still plenty of activities to enjoy, even without the snow. In fact, summer is one of the best times to hike in the area. You can take guided glacier hikes, which allow you to explore the ice up close, while learning about the unique ecosystem of the region. There are also various trails that lead you through the mountains, offering incredible views of the glaciers, valleys and peaks. And because you're so high up, even in the summer, you'll still see plenty of snow, so it's like getting the best of both worlds. Of course, no trip to Jungfraujoch would be complete without taking some time to just sit back and soak in the beauty of the place. There are several restaurants and cafes at the top, where you can grab a hot chocolate or a meal and just gaze out at the mountains. It's the perfect way to warm up after a day of exploring the ice and snow, and the views from the dining areas are just as spectacular as everything else in Jungfraujoch. If Jungfraujoch was the crown jewel of the Swiss Alps, then the charming mountain villages surrounding Interlaken are like the hidden gems waiting to be discovered. And trust me, you'll want to explore them, because each one has its own unique vibe and personality, yet all share that same breathtaking beauty that makes this region so special. Let me walk you through 3 of the most iconic villages: Wengen, Lauterbrunnen and Grindelwald. These 3 havens tucked away in the Alps are all within easy reach of Interlaken, making them perfect day trips or even places to stay if you want to fully immerse yourself in Swiss mountain life. Let's start with Wengen, which feels like something straight out of a storybook. Perched high up in the mountains, Wengen is a car-free village, so the only way to get there is by train. As you ride the cogwheel train up from Lauterbrunnen, you'll pass through lush forests and alongside steep cliffs with waterfalls cascading down into the valleys below. It's the kind of journey that builds anticipation, and by the time you arrive in Wengen, you're already feeling like you've stepped into a postcard. The moment you step off the train, you're greeted by that crisp mountain air and a view that's nothing short of spectacular. Wengen is famous for its traditional wooden chalets, many of which are decorated with colorful flower boxes that add a touch of charm to the village. It's quiet, peaceful, and incredibly picturesque. The lack of cars makes everything feel even more serene. You can wander through the village without the usual hustle and bustle of city life. Instead, you'll hear the sound of cowbells ringing in the distance and the soft murmur of people enjoying their meals at outdoor cafes. Wengen is also a popular base for outdoor activities. In the winter, it transforms into a ski resort with access to some of the best slopes in the Jungfrau Region. But even if you're visiting in the summer, there's plenty to do. One of the highlights is hiking up to the Männlichen Ridge, which offers panoramic views of the surrounding mountains. The hike is relatively easy and family-friendly, but if you're not in the mood for walking, you can always take the cable car to the top. Once you're there, you'll be rewarded with a jaw-dropping view of the Eiger, Mönch and Jungfrau peaks. It's the perfect spot for a picnic, or just to sit and take in the beauty of the Swiss Alps. Next up, let's head down the valley to Lauterbrunnen, a village that's famous for its stunning waterfalls. And when I say waterfalls, I mean it. Lauterbrunnen Valley is home to 72 waterfalls, all cascading down from the cliffs that tower above the village. The most famous of these is Staubach Falls, which plunges nearly 300 meters from the top of a cliff right into the valley below. You can actually walk up a path that takes you behind the waterfall, giving you a unique perspective as the water crashes down in front of you. It's one of those places where you feel completely connected to nature. The sound of rushing water, the cool mist on your face, and the incredible sight of the falls make it a truly unforgettable experience. Lauterbrunnen itself is a charming village with traditional Swiss architecture and a laid-back vibe. It's the kind of place where you can spend hours just wandering around, soaking up the peaceful atmosphere. One of the things I love about Lauterbrunnen is that it feels like a gateway to adventure. From here, you can hop on the train to Wengen or take a cable car up to the Schildhorn, a mountain peak that's famous for its revolving restaurant and its appearance in a James Bond movie. If you're up for an adventure, you can also hike up to the Trümmelbach Falls, a series of waterfalls hidden inside a mountain. These falls are fed by the melting glaciers of the Eiger, Mönch and Jungfrau and the sheer power of the water as it tumbles through the rock is awe-inspiring. One of the best ways to experience Lauterbrunnen is to simply walk or bike through the valley. There are trails that take you past fields of wildflowers, small farms, and of course, more waterfalls. It's a peaceful and scenic way to explore the area, and you'll often see paragliders soaring overhead, taking in the views from above. Lauterbrunnen is also a great place to stay if you're looking for a more relaxed base to explore the region. It's a larger village compared to Wengen and Lauterbrunnen, with more shops, restaurants and activities, but it still retains that cozy alpine charm that makes these Swiss villages so special. One of the highlights of visiting Grindelwald is taking the cable car up to First, a mountain that's known for its adventure activities. At the top, you'll find the First Cliff Walk, a metal walkway that hugs the side of the mountain, offering incredible views of the valley below. It's definitely not for the faint of heart, but if you're up for a bit of an adrenaline rush, it's an experience you won't forget. From First, you can also hike to Bachalpsee, a stunning alpine lake that's famous for its mirror-like reflection of the surrounding mountains. The hike is fairly easy, making it accessible for most people, and the view when you reach the lake is nothing short of breathtaking. It's one of those places where you can't help but stop and take a million photos because it's just that beautiful. For those who want to take their adventure to the next level, Grindelwald is also the starting point for the Eiger Trail, a challenging hike that takes you along the base of the famous Eiger North Face. The trail is steep and rocky, but the views are absolutely worth it. You'll feel like a true mountaineer as you walk in the shadow of one of the most iconic peaks in the Alps. And if you're lucky, you might even spot some climbers attempting to scale the Eiger's legendary face. If you're visiting Grindelwald in the winter, the village is a fantastic base for skiing and snowboarding, with access to some of the best slopes in the Jungfrau region. There are also plenty of options for après-ski activities, from cozy mountain huts where you can warm up with a hot chocolate to lively bars where you can unwind after a day on the slopes. Grindelwald has a bit more of a lively atmosphere compared to the quieter villages of Wengen and Lauterbrunnen, so if you're looking for a place with a bit more action, this is the spot for you. Interlaken might be world-renowned for its adventure sports and natural beauty, but there's a rich cultural side to it that often surprises travelers. And trust me, it's worth slowing down for a bit to soak in the local experiences, taste the food, and get a sense of what daily life in the stunning region is really like. Interlaken sits at the crossroads of Swiss culture, blending influences from both the German-speaking and French-speaking parts of Switzerland. You'll notice this blend in everything, from the architecture to the food, and even in the languages spoken by the locals. Most people here speak German, but you'll hear a mix of French, Italian, and English too, especially with all the tourists passing through. Despite its international visitors, Interlaken still manages to retain a strong sense of Swiss identity, and that's one of the things that makes it so special. Let's start by talking about the architecture, because if there's one thing that immediately captures your attention in Interlaken, it's the charming mix of traditional Swiss chalets and elegant Belle Epoque-style buildings. Walking through the streets of Interlaken feels like taking a step back in time. The chalets, with their wooden facades, steep roofs, and colorful flower boxes, are quintessentially Swiss. They give the town a cozy, almost fairy tale-like atmosphere, especially when set against the backdrop of the Alps. But then, there are also the grand hotels and buildings from the Belle Epoque place to get into some of these culinary delights. You've probably heard of fondue and raclette, right? Well, there's no better place to try these classic Swiss dishes than in Interlaken. Fondue is essentially melted cheese served in a pot where you dip bread, potatoes or vegetables into the gooey goodness. It's the ultimate comfort food, especially when it's cold outside, and sitting around a fondue pot with friends or family feels like a warm communal experience. Raclette is another cheesy delight. It's a type of cheese that's melted and scraped onto boiled potatoes, pickles and onions. The flavors are rich, and it's a dish that really sticks to your ribs, perfect after a day of hiking or skiing. Of course, no discussion about Swiss food would be complete without mentioning chocolate. Switzerland is famous for its chocolate, and Interlaken has plenty of places where you can indulge your sweet tooth. You'll find chocolate shops all over town, offering everything from handcrafted truffles to rich, creamy bars of chocolate. Some shops even offer workshops where you can learn how to make your own Swiss chocolate. Talk about a delicious souvenir. But there's more to Swiss cuisine than just cheese and chocolate. Interlaken's location between lakes and mountains means that local restaurants also offer fresh fish from the lakes, as well as traditional mountain dishes like rösti, a crispy pan-fried potato dish that's a bit like hash browns but way better. It's often served with sausage, bacon or eggs, and it's a simple yet satisfying meal. And if you're a fan of baked goods, don't miss out on Swiss pastries. The cafes in Interlaken offer a range of freshly baked goodies, perfect for an afternoon treat with a cup of coffee while you sit back and enjoy the views. While you're exploring the town, keep an eye out for the local markets that pop up in Interlaken. These markets are a great way to get a taste of local life and culture. You'll find fresh produce, local cheeses, meats and handmade crafts, all sold by friendly vendors who are happy to chat with you about their products. It's a wonderful way to connect with the local community and get a glimpse of daily life in the region. Plus, you might just find a unique souvenir to take home. Speaking of local life, one of the things that makes Interlaken so charming is the laid-back pace of life here. Even though it's a popular tourist destination, the town never feels rushed or overcrowded. People take their time, whether they're sipping coffee at a cafe, enjoying a leisurely walk along the lake, or just sitting on a park bench watching the world go by. It's the kind of place where you can slow down and really appreciate the beauty of your surroundings. And that's something I think we all could use a little more of. If you want to know about Swiss culture, Interlaken is home to several festivals and events throughout the year that showcase the region's traditions. One of the most famous is the Unspunnenfest, a festival that celebrates Swiss culture through traditional music, dance, and sports like Schwingen, Swiss wrestling, and Steinstößen, stone throwing. It's a colorful, lively event that takes place every few years, and it draws visitors from all over Switzerland and beyond. If you happen to be in town when it's on, it's a fantastic way to experience Swiss heritage up close. Another popular event is the Trucker and Country Festival, which brings a bit of the Wild West to Switzerland. It's a fun mix of country music, line dancing, and all things cowboy, and it's a big hit with both locals and tourists. It's one of those events that shows just how diverse and eclectic Interlaken can be. One of the things I love most about Interlaken's cultural side is how it balances tradition with modernity. You can still find traces of the old Swiss way of life here, but at the same time, the town has embraced its role as a global destination, welcoming visitors from all corners of the world. It's a place where old meets new, where Swiss traditions blend seamlessly with modern conveniences, and where people from different cultures come together and enjoy the beauty and charm of this incredible region. Sure, the mountains, lakes, and culture are unforgettable, but a smooth and hassle-free trip makes everything even better, right? Luckily, Interlaken is a travel-friendly town with excellent public transportation, convenient accommodation options, and plenty of tips that can help you make the most of your time here. So, Here are the nuts and bolts of traveling to and around Interlaken and how you can turn your trip into an experience you'll never forget. First off, getting to Interlaken is a breeze, whether you're flying in from another country or arriving from within Switzerland. The town is located in the Bernese Oberland region, which is right in the heart of Switzerland, making it super convenient to reach from major cities like Bern, Zurich and Lucerne. If you're coming from outside the country, the nearest major airport is in Zurich, but you can also fly into Geneva or Bern. From here, it's a simple train ride to Interlaken, and let me tell you, train travel in Switzerland is an experience in itself. The Swiss railway system is famously efficient, clean and scenic. Everything you'd expect from a country known for its precision and beauty. The train routes to Interlaken are nothing short of spectacular. Whether you're arriving from Zurich, Bern or Lucerne, the journey will take you through lush green valleys, along glistening lakes and past towering mountains. It's almost as if the landscape is teasing you, giving a glimpse of what's to come once you arrive. The train ride from Zurich takes around 2 hours, from Bern about an hour, and from Lucerne it's roughly 90 minutes. Time flies when you're surrounded by such beauty, and honestly, you'll find yourself glued to the window, trying to soak in every bit of scenery. Once you arrive in Interlaken, getting around the town is just as easy. The town itself is small and incredibly walkable, so you'll be able to explore most of the attractions on foot. There are 2 main train stations, Interlaken West and Interlaken Ost or East. And most travelers will find themselves using these stations frequently, especially if they're heading out to nearby villages or mountains. Interlaken West is slightly closer to the town center, so if you're staying in a hotel or hostel nearby, this is probably where you'll be getting off. Interlaken Ost is a bit farther east and serves as the gateway to the Jungfrau region. If you're planning to take the train up to Jungfraujoch, this is where your journey will start. Speaking of trains, one of the best things about traveling in Switzerland is the Swiss Travel Pass. This pass gives you unlimited access to the country's public transportation system, including trains, buses and boats. It's a game changer if you plan on exploring beyond Interlaken, and it saves you the hassle of buying individual tickets every time you want to travel. The pass also includes free or discounted entry to many museums and attractions, so it's definitely worth considering if you plan on doing a lot of sightseeing. And trust me, in a place like Interlaken, there's always something new and beautiful to see just around the corner. For those of you planning on staying in Interlaken for a few days, which I highly recommend, you'll find plenty of accommodation options to suit every budget. Whether you're looking for a luxurious hotel with panoramic mountain views, a charming bed and breakfast, or a budget-friendly hostel, Interlaken has something for everyone. The luxury hotels here are incredible, offering top-notch amenities including spas, gourmet dining, and rooms with stunning views of the Alps. But even if you're traveling on a budget, you'll find plenty of cozy guest houses and hostels that offer comfort without breaking the bank. Now, let's talk about some practical tips that can help you enjoy your time in Interlaken to the fullest. First off, Switzerland is known for being a bit on the pricey side, especially when it comes to food and dining. While it's always worth treating yourself to a traditional Swiss meal or some decadent Swiss chocolate, it can also be smart to hit up local supermarkets to stock up on snacks, drinks, and even ingredients for cooking if you're staying in a place with kitchen facilities. There are several supermarkets in Interlaken where you can buy everything you need, and it's a great way to save a little money while still enjoying the local flavors. Another tip to keep in mind is that while Interlaken is a year-round destination, the best time to visit depends on what you're looking for. If you're all about winter sports like skiing and snowboarding, then the winter months, December to February, are ideal. The nearby ski resorts of Grindelwald, Wengen and Lauterbrunnen come alive with powdery snow and endless slopes for you to explore. But if you prefer hiking, paragliding, or simply enjoying the lakes and mountains without the snow, then visiting in the summer, June to September, is perfect. The weather is warm, the trails are open, and the lakes are perfect for a refreshing swim or boat ride. Plus, summer is when all the outdoor festivals and events take place, giving you a chance to experience Swiss culture at its best. Of course, no matter when you visit, you'll want to pack layers. The weather in the mountains can change quickly, and even in the summer it can get chilly, especially in the evening or at higher altitudes. Make sure you bring a good pair of walking shoes too. You'll definitely be doing a lot of exploring on foot, and the last thing you want is sore feet while you're trying to enjoy the beauty of the Swiss Alps. One final piece of advice: take your time. Interlaken and the surrounding region are places to be savored, not rushed through. Whether you're climbing to the top of Jungfraujoch, sailing across Lake Thun, or simply sitting in a cafe enjoying a slice of Swiss cake, let yourself be fully present in the moment. There's a peacefulness here that's hard to find anywhere else, and it's something you'll want to carry with you long after your trip is over. Interlaken isn't just a destination, it's an experience. From the thrill of paragliding over the Alps to the simple pleasure of walking through its charming streets, this little town has a way of getting under your skin. And whether it's your first visit or your 10th, you'll always find something new to fall in love with. So pack your bags, hop on that train, and get ready to discover the magic of Interlaken. I promise, it's a journey you won't forget. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.